People love to talk about luck. They see someone successful, and the first thing they say is, "He's lucky." They see a person living in a beautiful house, driving expensive cars, traveling the world, building businesses, and they immediately assume that something magical happened behind the scenes. They believe that somehow fate chose that person while everyone else was left behind. But the truth, the brutal and uncomfortable truth that most people refuse to accept, is that what you call luck is very often nothing more than years of invisible hard work. This idea is constantly emphasized in the mindset philosophy shared by Andrew Tate. Think about it carefully. When someone sees a successful person today, they are only seeing the result. They are seeing the highlight of the story, not the struggle that created it. They didn't see the nights when that person stayed awake working while everyone else was sleeping. They didn't see the sacrifices, the discipline, the constant rejection, and the relentless grind that happened long before success arrived. People love to ignore the process because the process is painful. It requires effort, patience, and a level of dedication that most individuals are simply not willing to give. The world has trained people to believe that success should be quick and easy. Social media shows instant victories, fast money, and overnight fame. But behind every overnight success is usually 10 years of hard work that nobody noticed. A person spends years developing skills, learning from failure, building discipline, and pushing through moments where quitting would have been easier. When the results finally appear, everyone else suddenly calls it luck. Imagine two people starting from the same place. One wakes up early every morning, studies new skills, works on improving himself, and refuses to waste time. The other sleeps late, complains about life, scrolls endlessly on social media, and waits for motivation to arrive. 5 years later, the first person has opportunities, connections, financial growth, and confidence. The second person has excuses. And the second person will say, I got lucky. But what they call luck is actually the accumulation of thousands of small discipline actions repeated every single day. Luck is often just preparation meeting opportunity. When opportunities appear, the prepared person is ready to act. The unprepared person watches from the sidelines and wonders why life seems unfair. Opportunity doesn't reward the most talented person. It rewards the most prepared person. The one who spent years sharpening their skills while others were distracted. Hard work creates visibility. The more effort you put into improving yourself, the more doors begin to open. You meet new people, learn new strategies, and build the confidence that allows you to take risks others are afraid to take. From the outside, it might look like everything suddenly started working in your favor. But the truth is that the momentum was built slowly, quietly, through discipline and persistence that nobody else noticed. The difference between people who achieve extraordinary success and people who stay average is often not intelligence or talent. It is the willingness to keep working when progress feels slow. It is the ability to continue pushing forward even when there are no guarantees. Every extra hour spent learning, every sacrifice made for growth, every moment of discipline compounds over time until eventually the results become impossible to ignore. And the same people who once ignored the effort will look at the outcome and call it luck, while the reality is that luck was simply the shadow of relentless effort, built day after day through consistent work, discipline, and the refusal to stop moving forward even when the path was difficult and invisible to everyone else. One of the most dangerous things a person can experience in life is comfort. Comfort feels good in the moment. It feels safe, relaxing, and easy. But behind that temporary feeling of ease is a hidden cost that most people never realize until years have already passed. Comfort slowly destroys ambition. It quietly removes the hunger that pushes people to grow, improve, and chase something bigger than the life they currently have. The mindset, often emphasized by, repeatedly warns about this trap because comfort is one of the biggest reasons people remain stuck in average lives. Think about how most people spend their days. They wake up late because it feels comfortable to sleep longer. They choose entertainment instead of education because it feels easier to watch something than to learn something. They avoid difficult tasks because struggle creates stress and stress is uncomfortable. Day after day, they choose the path that requires the least amount of effort, believing that tomorrow they will somehow become more motivated. But tomorrow arrives and the same pattern repeats again. Comfort becomes a routine, and that routine slowly becomes a lifestyle. The person doesn't even realize that their dreams are slowly fading away because comfort is quietly replacing ambition. They start accepting less from life, lowering their expectations, and convincing themselves that average results or normal growth has never existed inside comfort. Every meaningful improvement in life happens the moment someone steps outside the safe zone where everything feels easy. When you learn a new skill, it feels uncomfortable because your brain is struggling to adapt. When you work longer hours toward a goal, it feels uncomfortable because your body and mind want rest. When you push yourself beyond your normal limits, discomfort becomes part of the journey. Most people run away from that feeling. They treat discomfort like a signal to stop instead of recognizing it as a signal that progress is happening. The moment something becomes difficult, they return to what feels familiar and easy. They return to the couch, the phone, the distractions that require no effort and no growth. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the world, someone else is embracing the discomfort. Someone else is waking up earlier, studying longer, training harder, and pushing through the very challenges that others avoid. That person understands something powerful. Discomfort is not punishment. It is transformation. Every level of success demands a new version of you. A stronger mindset, better habits, deeper discipline. But that new version of yourself can only be built through moments that feel difficult, challenging, and sometimes exhausting. Comfort keeps the old version of you alive. Discomfort builds the new one. Imagine two paths in front of you every single day. One path is comfortable. It requires no sacrifice, no discipline, and no risk. The other path demands effort, focus, and the willingness to struggle for something bigger than immediate pleasure. Most people walk toward comfort because it feels easier today, not realizing that they are slowly building a life that will feel frustrating tomorrow. Comfort gives you peace in the present, but steals your potential in the future. The people who create extraordinary lives are not the ones who avoid difficulty. They are the ones who train themselves to move toward it. They understand that every moment of discomfort is shaping them into someone stronger, someone more capable, someone who refuses to settle for an easy life that leads to regret while constantly choosing growth over ease and discipline over temporary satisfaction. There is a hidden difference between people who achieve extraordinary success and people who remain average their entire lives. It is not always intelligence, talent, or even opportunity. The real difference is how people use their time when nobody is watching. The mindset that has been repeatedly emphasized by revolves around a simple but brutal truth. Winners are willing to work during the hours when others choose to rest. Most people live their lives according to comfort and convenience. They work only when they are required to work. When the job ends, the effort ends. When the clock hits a certain hour, the ambition disappears. They treat success like a switch that can be turned on and off depending on mood, energy, or motivation. But the individuals who rise to the top of any field understand that success does not operate on a schedule designed for comfort. While the majority of people are relaxing, watching entertainment, scrolling endlessly through social media, or sleeping longer than necessary, somewhere there is a person who is using that exact time to improve themselves. That person is reading, studying, training, building skills, or working on a vision that nobody else can see yet. At first, the difference between these two people seems small. One person relaxes for a few extra hours. The other person invests those hours into growth. But time has a powerful way of multiplying small decisions. 1 hour of extra effort every day might not look important in the moment. But after a year, that becomes hundreds of additional hours spent learning, practicing, and improving. After 5 years, the gap becomes enormous. One person has invested thousands of hours into building expertise and discipline, while the other has spent thousands of hours consuming distractions. When the results finally appear, the difference looks shocking, but the cause of that difference was built slowly through daily choices that seemed insignificant at the time. Winners understand that every moment can be used as an advantage. They see time as a resource that cannot be replaced. Every hour wasted is an opportunity lost forever. That awareness creates a sense of urgency that most people never feel. Instead of asking how they can relax more, they constantly ask themselves how they can grow more. This does not mean winners never rest. Rest is necessary to recover, to think clearly, and to maintain energy. But their relationship with rest is different. They earn their rest after intense effort, not before it. They rest with purpose, not out of laziness or boredom. Their focus remains on progress, improvement, and building momentum that compounds over time. Meanwhile, average individuals often wait for motivation to appear before they take action. They wait until they feel inspired, until they feel energized, until conditions seem perfect. But winners move forward regardless of how they feel. They work when they are tired. They work when progress is slow. They work when nobody is applauding their effort. That relentless consistency is what creates momentum day by day. They build skills that others never develop. They gain knowledge that others never study. They strengthen discipline while others strengthen excuses. Over time, the gap becomes impossible to close because the winner has trained themselves to operate at a level of focus and commitment that most people never experience, continuing to move forward during the quiet hours when the rest of the world is distracted, resting, or waiting for a better moment that never truly arrives. One of the most powerful traps that holds people back in life is the habit of making excuses. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect the ego. They allow someone to explain failure without taking responsibility for it. They create a temporary sense of relief because instead of confronting the truth, a person can simply blame something else. The mindset often discussed by repeatedly highlights that excuses are one of the biggest reasons people remain stuck in the same place year after year. Listen carefully to the conversations around you. Many people have a long list of reasons why their life is not the way they want it to be. Some blame their background. Others blame their education, their job, their environment, their country, or even the people around them. They say they would have succeeded if circumstances were different. They say they would have worked harder if opportunities had appeared earlier. They say they would have achieved more if life had been fair at first. These explanations sound convincing. In many cases, life truly does present obstacles. Some people start with fewer resources, fewer connections, or more challenges than others. But the dangerous part begins when those obstacles become permanent excuses. The moment someone convinces themselves that their situation makes success impossible, they stop searching for solutions. Excuses create a mental prison. When a person believes their failure is caused entirely by outside forces, they remove their own power to change anything. They stop trying harder because they believe effort will not matter. They stop learning because they believe improvement will not make a difference. Over time, this mindset slowly turns into acceptance of an average life. Meanwhile, someone else might face the same obstacles, but choose a completely different response. Instead of asking why life is unfair, they ask what they can control. Instead of focusing on limitations, they search for opportunities. They look for ways to improve their skills, expand their knowledge, and build new paths even when the journey is difficult. This is the dividing line between people who grow and people who remain stuck. Excuses always point outward. Responsibility always points inward. When someone takes responsibility for their situation, something powerful happens. They regain control. Suddenly, the focus shifts from complaining about the past to building a better future. Every problem becomes a challenge to solve rather than a reason to quit. The reality is that excuses are incredibly easy to create. Anyone can find reasons to delay effort, to avoid challenges, or to justify staying comfortable. But every excuse carries a hidden cost. Each one slowly weakens discipline, weakens ambition, and weakens the belief that change is possible. Successful individuals train themselves to eliminate excuses from their thinking. They do not ignore problems, but they refuse to use problems as a reason to stop moving forward. When something goes wrong, their first question is not, "Who is responsible for this?" but "What can I do next?" This shift in mindset changes everything. Progress begins to replace frustration. Action begins to replace complaining. Instead of waiting for the world to become fair, they focus on becoming stronger, more capable, and more disciplined than the obstacles standing in front of them. Continuously pushing forward without allowing excuses to steal their potential or convince them that an ordinary life is the only option available. There is a powerful truth about success that many people struggle to accept. Success is not built on motivation. Motivation is temporary. It appears for a short moment, creates excitement, and then fades away when things become difficult. The people who rely only on motivation often start strong, but quickly lose momentum when challenges appear. What truly separates extraordinary individuals from average ones is something far more powerful and far more consistent: discipline. This idea is strongly reflected in the mindset philosophy shared by Tate, where discipline is treated as the foundation of every successful life. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It means waking up early when your mind is asking for more sleep. It means continuing to work when others have already stopped. It means staying focused on long-term goals even when short-term pleasures are calling for your attention. Discipline does not depend on mood, inspiration, or external pressure. It is a decision that a person repeats every single day. Most people underestimate how powerful daily habits can be. They think success comes from one big breakthrough moment, one big opportunity, or one lucky event that suddenly changes everything. But the truth is much simpler and much more demanding. Extraordinary lives are built through small actions repeated consistently over long periods of time. Every day, a person either moves closer to their goals or further away from them through the choices they make. When someone trains themselves to become disciplined, they gain control over their own behavior. They no longer depend on emotions to guide their actions. Even on days when energy feels low and progress seems slow, discipline pushes them to continue. That consistency becomes incredibly powerful over time because progress compounds. A small improvement today, combined with another small improvement tomorrow, eventually creates massive transformation. Think about the difference between someone who works with discipline and someone who works only when they feel motivated. The disciplined person continues to learn, practice, and improve every day regardless of circumstances. The motivated person works hard for a short time and then stops when excitement disappears. After months or years, the disciplined individual has accumulated thousands of hours of effort, while the other person has accumulated only moments of enthusiasm. Discipline also builds mental strength. Each time a person chooses effort over comfort, they reinforce the belief that they are capable of controlling their actions. They become stronger, more focused, and more resilient against distractions. Over time, this mindset transforms how they approach every area of life. Challenges no longer feel overwhelming because discipline has already trained them to handle difficulty. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it creates reliability. People who are disciplined show up every day. They deliver consistent effort, consistent focus, and consistent improvement. That reliability builds trust, opportunities, and confidence. Others begin to notice the individual who continues to work long after the excitement fades, the individual who refuses to quit simply because something feels difficult. Extraordinary lives are rarely built through dramatic bursts of effort. They are built through steady, relentless action that continues even when the journey becomes exhausting. Discipline turns effort into habit, and habit turns progress into inevitable results. Over time, the person who practices relentless discipline becomes someone completely different from the person they once were, stronger in mindset, sharper in focus, and more capable of achieving goals that once seemed impossible, while continuing to move forward with consistent action and unwavering commitment to growth. The message behind this entire speech is brutally simple, but incredibly powerful. Life does not reward people who wait, complain, or search for easy paths. Life rewards those who are willing to push beyond comfort, silence their excuses, and build discipline day after day. The difference between people who achieve extraordinary success and those who remain stuck in average lives is rarely luck, talent, or perfect circumstances. The real difference is the mindset they choose to live by. As often emphasized in the philosophy shared by Tate, success belongs to those who are willing to work harder, sacrifice more, and stay focused when others lose their direction. Every moment of effort compounds into progress, every disciplined action builds strength, and every refusal to make excuses moves a person closer to the life they once imagined. The choice is always the same for everyone: continue living in comfort while hoping for luck to appear, or step into discomfort, work relentlessly, and create the opportunities that others spend their lives waiting for.